Welcome to Chicago. It's Friday evening, June 29th. In a few days, it'll be Independence Day. But for right now, it's race weekend.
Hello, Jackie Ding here. We are at Joliet, Illinois, trying to get my car a little faster, but we're getting it ready for tomorrow's Gridlife round 3 at Autobahn. 218, 217-ish. Yeah. Is that enough? No. No, it's not enough, but it's all I'm getting.
Jackie Ding, street class victor at Mid-Ohio and Bracket Battle's 4th place finisher at Midwest Festival. We'll have to pull out all the stops this weekend. Joshua Orr currently holds the lead ahead of Jackie in his C7 Corvette. But Josh and his rip-snorting American muscle won't be Jackie's only concern at Autobahn.
Honestly, this isn't atypical for a Friday night. This dyno is kind of a meeting spot for a lot of the locals for sure. My name's Eric DeWitt. Everybody calls me Dewey.
Eric Dewey DeWitt, who battled Jackie in the rain at Mid-Ohio, will also have his work cut out for him this weekend.
This weekend I'm driving the old trusty 05 STI that I've been competing in street class with this season. Last event we did the Fortune Auto 510s, which helped immensely. I got them a little more dialed in now. Other than that, it's pretty much just go for broke. The track really favors corner exits. The STI is fantastic in that respect. There's going to be some extraordinarily fast guys there. Jackie is incredible there. It really favors a guy who can carry speed and leave corners well, and Jackie is extraordinarily well at carrying speed.
I really like the Autobahn event because the track suits my car more. There's a lot of fast flowing corners instead of slow corner and a lot of acceleration zone that my poor little car doesn't do too well at. But once you get to the fast flowing sections, that's where the mechanical balance and drivability comes in, and my car excels at that. So Autobahn is a very tricky event to deal with. You have to run 3 tracks in the span of 2 days, and 2 of those tracks you only get 2 or 3 sessions on. So you really don't get a lot of practice time. You don't get to go slow and ease in. You have to bang it out, kind of like Mid-Ohio. So it's very difficult.
It's Saturday, the first day of competition, and drivers have begun to roll in and set up. Unlike the Bracket Battles of Midwest Festival, Autobahn will feature classic time attack competition with one small twist.
So welcome to Autobahn in the hottest day probably of the year. I'm Michael Puglisi from D&M Racing. I drive a 2006 Mitsubishi Evolution in track mod. So as far as the track configurations, I start with north, then we move to full, and then we go to south the next day.
Michael Puglisi, the track mod bracket battle victor at Gridlife Round 2, is back with his Evo 9.
So this is actually a 4G64 with longer rods, stroker crank, 94 mil stroker crank. We got the new Garrett Gen 2 GTX 3076 with 82 housing. And we have a TRE transmission with a straight cut 4th gear. Reinhardt suspension, which is phenomenal this year. Car glides. We got the car tuned by Mikey. He made more power than I actually even wanted. I'm actually nervous to turn it up because not more for the driving aspect, but just because of reliability. Obviously, key in this event is reliability. If you don't have reliability, you can't run all 3 tracks and you can't make enough points for the season. You can make anywhere between 450 to 650. Got about anywhere between 580 to 600 right now.
Just like at Round 2, Michael will have to fight if he wants to win this weekend. Jeremy Swenson, a Gridlife newcomer at Midwest, has returned with his supercharged Corvette ZR1.
I'm Jeremy Swenson. We are currently at the center of the sun. It's Autobahn Country Club. Never been here before. It looks like an awesome facility. I think the track's gonna be a lot of fun, but it is 185 degrees out and it's 10 a.m. It'll be an interesting weekend. I drive a 2011 Corvette ZR1. It's sponsored by Theraldson Ethanol, CTE Global, Viking Incorporated. Pretty much everything's changed. I built the motor, RPM transmissions, built the trans, control arms, Viking shocks, inside's all changed out. Everything has basically been changed or modified in some way. I've never been here, so I expect I'll be slow to start with, but it sounds like we only get 2 sessions per track layout. So this afternoon it's going to be the north section, and we only get 2 sessions, so you got to nail it right away. And heat's going to be a factor. I don't think the tires or the motors are going to be real happy for very long, so you better get it on your first lap, and if you make a mistake, hopefully you got enough left.
It's time for our drivers to take a stab at the first track configuration of the weekend, Autobahn's North Course. The Unlimited and Track Mod guys lead the way onto the track. Michael has experience here from last year, and it shows. He's 4th fastest of the session with a 1 minute, 7-second time, despite the heat. That'll put him 3rd overall in Track Mod after this first session. Jeremy isn't so lucky. He's unable to get a decent lap during the first session on North, as his car begins to destroy fender liners on track. He's forced to miss the remainder of the session as he works on his car. Group B is filled with our street class competitors. Jackie Ding and Dewey DeWitt are joined by their competition, Joshua Orr and his C7 Corvette, leading the class in points for the season. Austin Hurdle, who went extremely fast here last weekend in his 370Z, and Ron Spear, who has shown his Mustang's V8 potency time and again in street class. Ron pulls out an early lead, finishing the session 1st overall with a 110.2, but the competition in street is unbelievably close. Joshua Orr, Austin Hurdle, and Jackie Ding trail Ron by tenths, all 4 of them within a second of each other's times.
My name's Ron Spear. We're at Autobahn Country Club running all 3 tracks and driving a 2011 Mustang GT. We are all so close, and I know there's a lot of, he has a lot of power, this guy doesn't weigh a whole lot, but I mean, we're all 1 to 2 tenths off each other, so.
There's me in the Corvette, there's Ron Spears in his Mustang, there's Austin in his 370 Nismo, and then there's Jackie Ding in his S2000. It's a very diverse class, and it's quite shocking what we all do with what we have. With the street class, there's a lot of rules on aero, tire size, and it really limits what you can do. Only having 285s, it's really hard to put the power down. So I was able to do simple things like the Z06 little winglets and stuff like that. I don't know, there's really not a lot in class you can do besides tires, wheels. I kept the stock suspension. I still have stock sway bars. I just wanted something that'd be reliable and do what it does.
Tracking the Mustang GT in street is pretty competitive. It has a V8, so it has plenty of power, but it also has weight too. So I finally got it down to 3,400 pounds with no fuel. With me in the car, it's 36 or so. It's pretty competitive. Most people don't think because they see them crash all the time everywhere, but Ford has a huge aftermarket with these cars. They raced them in the Continental Tire Challenge, the Pirelli World Challenge. Still has a stick axle, so still has solid rear axle on it, and they just did a lot of homework to the car to make it perform well.
With running Autobahn and the changing structures, running 3 different configurations in 2 days, you don't have a lot of time to adjust the car to each track setup. Each track has a little bit different setup it seems to like, and having only 2 sessions to do it, it makes it a lot of fun and a good challenge.
The track mod competition has begun to learn North Course, and the improved performance of the Vipers and Corvettes in the 2nd session will knock Michael to a 4th place spot in track mod. Hot on his heels are the street class boys, who've only gotten faster. After taking 4th place in street class during the first session earlier this afternoon, Jackie Ding and his little S2000 that could show up in the 2nd session. Through sheer force of will, Jackie manages to snatch the top spot in class with a 1097.
First round of the battle, I've drawn first blood. We've knocked out the park at North Circuit. We've set the new class record, I think, with a 1097.
Jackie has got this almost supernatural ability to maintain speed at a level that other cars can't. So even though Jackie cannot accelerate out of the corners, he's not gonna get the top end speed. His average cornering speed is significantly higher than pretty much everybody in street class, and it's a massive weapon here. It's an absolute massive weapon here. And that's why Jackie right now is winning street class as it sits.
But it's so tight, I can't really say I'm happy about it because Austin with the 370Z is a 1098, a 10th behind me. After him, there's Ron in the Mustang, and that's another 10th. So there's top 3 in 0.2 seconds. Nuts, absolutely nuts. And then right after them is Corvette, another 3.3 seconds. It's also marginal right now.
I'm Austin Hurdle. I'm driving the 370Z in the street rear-wheel drive class out here at Autobahn, and just going and having fun. This is like my first year of competition, so I'm just going out and seeing what I can do. I started off racing motocross when I was like 7 until I was about 18 or so, and then I just kind of transferred from 2 wheels to 4. Did HPD with Gridlife last year, and tried to mix it up with the time attack guys this year.
Meanwhile, in Group B, Jeremy Swenson has some work to do. After setting a record at Gridlife Round 2, he's got just 1 session to learn North Course and salvage his position. The question is, was his performance at Round 2 just a one-time deal? As it turns out, no. In just a handful of laps, Jeremy learns the track and turns on the power. He and his rocket ship of a Corvette devour the North Course, and Jeremy will cross the line with a 1-minute 5-second time, taking the track mod win by a full second over his competition.
North track was okay. I ripped a fender liner out on the first session, and then the second session I was able to sort of cobble a run together and ended up first, I think, in track mod.
We finish with North Course for the weekend. Jeremy and Jackie will lead their classes heading into the second Autobahn track configuration, full course. Over 3.5 miles long, full course is over twice as long as North Course, and the longest track Gridlife runs all season.
Full's one of those tracks, you screw up once, you pretty much screw your entire session, because it's so long, you have to get it right the first time.
I don't know if you talked to Austin, but he ran a 241 on full where we're going up. Last year I think I ran like a 247, so I hopefully can follow him and figure out how that happened. Because I have no idea.
I came here on a practice day last week, and I ran a time good enough for the street class record on full, so I'm hoping to back it up this weekend.
After the first session on full course, Austin has confirmed everyone's initial impressions. He's extremely fast on the long configuration.
I was having a blast out there, man. I just sent it. The track was hot. Like I think the car temp said it was like 106 out there, so a lot hotter than it was last time I was here. I knew I was gonna do decent. I didn't want to be like too confident, but I ended up pulling off 2 lap times that were 9 thousandths off of each other, and it was at a 41.4. So just took back first place now, so I'm pretty pumped.
Austin is running a 241. I mean, props to him.
Austin's performance on full course has shown that he's not only fast, but also one of the most entertaining drivers in this series. His laps look hectic and sideways, but you can't argue with results.
See is like it's not good. But I was having a blast for sure. I'm glad the car is holding up. Shout out to Dynasty. They tune this thing, they give me all my parts, shift this thing at 8,000 RPMs every time, and it loves it. So it's doing well. I haven't had any problems, knock on wood, so far.
In track mod, Eric Fleming and his Z06 will take the lead in the first session. Luke McGrew and his Viper are hot on his heels. Mike Puglisi will face issues with boiling brake fluid and will have to bring his Evo in for a brake refresh. Meanwhile, Jeremy's ZR1 continues its mission to eat all of its fender liners, once again forcing him to come in early to perform surgery, this time on the other side of the car.
I don't think ripping your car apart is technically normal, but this is a pretty bumpy track, and we're trying to run these gigantic tires that I don't normally run, and they're not vibing with the fender liners, so it decided to rip them out in 2 different sessions, killing both sessions. So I think we're out of fender liners now. We should be good to go. I'm definitely behind the curve. I'm way off. I have no idea what to think of the last half, and we got 1 session to throw it together, so we'll see.
Every time we cover Gridlife Track Battle, we pick 2 classes and a handful of drivers to follow. But that doesn't mean that the rest of the field isn't putting on a show. RS Motors brought their A game, debuting Andy Smedegard's revised Unlimited Class Evo, as well as Brandon Randvek's Track Mod Evo. Randvek would briefly lead Track Mod on North Course before losing his transmission. Smedegard, meanwhile, set the fastest time of the weekend on North Course and looked primed to do the same on full. Kevin Wesley campaigned a track prep Challenger Red Eye in Unlimited Class, managing competitive times all weekend in the 4,000-pound car. Brad Yonkers and Matt DeRuse, the victims of a huge Street Mod upset during Round 2's bracket battles, returned to their usual form, taking a hard-fought second place on North Course.
I think our last session of today will be at like 9 o'clock, and I was here last night and 9 o'clock it was dark out, so I mean, I don't know, headlights on and we'll send it.
I'm really looking forward to driving this evening. I really want to get the glowing rotor photos and the cooler temps and the heat today. I'm hoping it cools off, but I don't think there's a lot of hope for that.
Driving into the night is a very special experience. It feels like you're at Le Mans. You got the headlights on, I have tinted visors so I can't see much. And plus into the night, you get more grip, you get more comfortable, and sometimes you get a tunnel vision, you keep driving faster and faster and faster. It's really satisfying.
Group A takes to the track as the sun begins to set. On tracks without lights, it's rare to run this late. The drivers will need to put down their fast times before they've completely lost light. Our competitors are completely undeterred by the setting sun. Michael and his Evo assume the attack with fresh brake fluid, setting their fastest time of the weekend on full course. Good for 4th place in class behind Luke McGrew, Eric Fleming, and Jeremy Swenson. Once again, Jeremy must get up to speed and set a lap with only one session. And once again, he pulls it off, edging out the competition by almost a full second to take the full course track mod win. Jeremy is 2 for 3. Street class isn't taking things any easier. In near darkness, the drivers pound out flyer after flyer. The problem is, no one's getting any faster. In fact, in the dying light, everyone has gotten slower. Austin drops back to a 242, while Josh and Jackie are both stuck with 243s. After intake temperature problems, Dewey must run in an even slower run group, meaning he'll be running essentially at night.
So the situation is not looking good for me this morning. I thought I had a lot of pace on South, but combination of tire pressure and the suspension settings and incompetence on the driver's part has meant that I'm a second down on Josh in the C7 and half a second down on Austin.
Drivers have begun their attack of South Course, the final configuration of the weekend. They'll be here all day, clawing their way toward faster lap times.
First session this morning, Sunday, on the South Course went predictably because I still don't really have much experience here. Was able to, I think I got second in track mod by a 10th. It went okay. I know there's tons of time left.
Today we just went out and I just reset my South record and got into 129s, which I've been wanting for a very long time, so I'm stoked. I know there's so much more time in the car. More seat time.
Michael, who was only able to manage 4th place on North and full course yesterday, has come into his own on South. He leads the track mod overall after the first session, though his lead is marginal. Jeremy Swenson in his ZR1 trailed the Evo by just 0.03 of a second. Austin's dominance from yesterday has evaporated on South Course, where he struggled to keep pace with Josh and Ron's V8s. Ron Spears earned his quick times on the South Course. After a bushing failure yesterday on full, Ron worked non-stop to find a replacement.
After that bushing blew out, that was like the first half day was great, blew the bushing out. I worked till 1 in the morning at a different shop, back at home, woke up, worked, came here, worked. I didn't think I stopped working till about, 1 in the afternoon today. to where I finally can't do anything else to help.
With rain in the forecast for this afternoon and a long drive home for some of our drivers, many competitors plan to pack it up after the second session. Jeremy Swenson is one such driver.
Currently, I'm right behind Mike Puglisi by about a half a tenth, I think. We're going to stick around for one more session and try to get a little gap and put one good one in at least.
The first session we went out this morning, we were within like 0.05 or something like that. We definitely all make power in very different ways. I make my time and exit. Corvettes, they boogie on the straights for sure.
If Jeremy can shave mere tenths off his time on South, he'll have a time fast enough to beat Michael. He'll have claimed a first place victory on each of the 3 Autobahn configurations. Complete dominance. Michael and Jeremy lead their competition onto South Course, with only Andy Smedegard's giant wing ahead of them. All weekend, Jeremy's faced small annoyances, losing fender liners and track time. But despite those setbacks, he's pulled out win after win. He's proven that his track record at Gridlife Round 2 was no fluke. And here on South, he has the pace. He's done it. Jeremy betters his time on South by half a second, tenths faster than Michael's time from the first session. But Michael has gone faster as well.
It went okay. We picked up a little bit of time, but so did Mike. I think we're still 2 tenths behind him now, so we're taking off and we'll applaud him. He did a good job. I'm getting sick of getting beat by that guy, but we'll get him next time maybe.
Jeremy and I, the last past session out, we were very close. I went in and actually finally beat the track mod record at a 129.2, and that actually extended my lead with Jeremy by like 2 tenths, 3 tenths, because he went out there and went faster, of course.
I think I won the event overall, so we'll get taken off. We got a long drive ahead of us, try to get back for work tomorrow. Overall, it's been a great weekend. I'm not used to this heat, but other than that, it's been fantastic.
He has a long drive ahead of him, 11 hours, I think. We'll have to battle it out again, but I'm happy at least to take South home. I'll take that.
In street class, Josh Orr's pace set in the first session has held up. As the afternoon progresses, he holds his first place lead in street, followed closely by Ron Spear, then Austin Hurdle, and finally, Jackie Ding.
Actually, this has probably been the best competing of the series this year, just because we all traded off so much. And someone got first on each different configuration. We all seem to have messed up on one of the configurations as well, which is really entertaining. So no one knows who won, no one knows who lost at this point. We're still trying to figure out what they're going to do.
Dewey, unable to keep the pace with his rear-wheel drive competitors on North and South and being forced to drive in the darkness on full course, will have to settle for a win in street all-wheel drive. The overall street class podium will elude him this weekend.
In first place, the loudest man we know, Eric Dewey DeWitt. It is sold out!
Ron Spear, despite strong performances on both North and South course, fell well behind the curve on full. After losing track time to a mechanical difficulty, he too will miss the podium. Thanks to his street class record on South course, Josh Orr and his Corvette will snag 3rd place for street class overall. Both Jackie Ding and Austin Hurdle have achieved street class records this weekend as well, but only one can take the top spot for the weekend. Thanks not only to his full course record, but also his consistent performances on North and South, Austin Hurdle will take his first ever win in time attack. Austin has proved victorious over the fearsome competition of Jackie and the entire street class lineup.
So the game plan was basically keep my shit together. I mean, everybody was having offs, everybody was having car problems. It was just keep my car consistent and just go out and do laps. Obviously, it's my first, running with everybody, doing the track battle and stuff. So I didn't know if I could hang with everybody, but it seems like I'm doing pretty well.
Absolutely stoked. Super, super happy. Nothing went wrong. Car was perfect. Didn't go off a single time. The bumper destroyer name shall be erased.
It's always a party in street class. Like we're the guys that are out there and like running the closest time, just out having a blast. I guess we're the closest class out of everyone.
We haven't hit like a limit yet where someone just can't go any faster. Everybody went faster, so I guess that's all driver mod.
I know we traded off breaking the lap record multiple times, which is so exciting coming in not knowing who broke it this time.
I think we have completely elevated the game in street class. We have completely changed a class that was looked at before as an advanced with transponder into a class that's actually doing something incredible.
Street class is the most competitive class in all of time attack in the United States right now. If anybody disagrees with me, you find that many time attack cars that close in time. It's unreal. If you want the party, you come to street class. Our little sandbox is a riot to play in.
The competition in street and track mod grows ever closer. Josh holds the most points in street, and he looks to extend that lead in the next round.
I cannot wait for Rotoland. My car, power to weight, and then also just the aero, it's gonna do really well down there. I'm really excited to see what I can do.
Despite his late start to the season, only a handful of points separate Jeremy Swenson from the podium and Michael Puglisi's third place standing. And Road Atlanta, Gridlife's next destination, is the perfect track for Swenson's Corvette to break records. If Michael wants the class win this season, he'll have no other option but maximum attack.